And another thing I like about your idea is that you once have an imagination about how we might use the land.
Yes, I do.
Apart from, what's that? Like using that machine to...
Oh, it's called a strimmer.
Streamer.
Strimmer, yeah.
Streamer,
Yeah, you're streaming.
Using the streamer to streaming it. You have... I heard that you have some other imaginations over this land.
I do. If I owned this piece of land, which I intend to buy a piece of land and own it, but I mean, I don't believe in ownership actually. But anyway, whatever. You can't own the land. But if I could commandeer this piece of land and use it how I wanted, you could absolutely turn this into a highly productive, very nutritious site. Like this is so my dissertation. So I'm doing my Masters in Agroforestry and Food Security, and agroforestry is essentially sustainable food production. So you can take a piece of land, and especially what I'm interested in doing is where you have crops that are layered. So annual, like normal agriculture, you just plant a potato next to a potato next to a potato, or like a soybean next to a soybean next to a soybean. This does not occur in nature. You don't get plants that are the same next to each other. What you want is a polyculture of lots of different things. So you might have a tree layer, so you get cherries or apples from the tree, and then you have a big shrub, so let's say that could grow under the apple tree, that could provide hazelnuts. Then next to the hazelnut you could have what are called herbaceous perennials, so perennial plants that keep growing every year, and they grow, and they're ground cover, so they grow across the ground and you can harvest them. Then you also have things that grow under the ground, like root vegetables like carrots and parsnips and whatever. And so in one space you could have, apples, cherries, hazelnuts, garlic and carrots just in one place. And not only that, but you wouldn't get pests, because if something loves carrots, like a pest, some sort of little creature loves to eat carrots, if you put all your carrots next to each other, then once it's found one carrot, it's like, oh, I've got a feast of carrots. But different things eat different things, so it's hard to accumulate pests, which means you don't need pesticides. Also, so you get this thing, a fungus, they're called mycorrhizal fungi, and they make connections with the roots of different plants, and they make a web under the ground. And so let's say the hazelnut tree needs a lot of nitrogen, and apples produce excess nitrogen naturally. The mycorrhizal fungi, the mushrooms under the ground, will take the nitrogen and give it to the hazelnut, and then take nutrients from the hazelnut and give it back to the apple, and make this network where everything is one and all sharing. It becomes a superorganism underground. And that is... So if you have that on a site, on a piece of land, it means that you don't need fertilizers, because like a forest, you're mimicking a natural forest. A forest doesn't need human intervention. A forest grows itself. And you could certainly have it where a food system grew itself. Like, this stuff grows without us doing anything to it. It just comes of its own volition, of its own accord. And that's what it is about food is free. Instead of trying to have these highly managed systems that require a lot of fossil fuels and a lot of input and are very bad for the climate, you could have it where things that would grow naturally, you can just pick and eat them, and they're a lot more nutritious. It feels like it's a win-win-win situation. So that's what I would do with this piece of land if it was mine, or if I could commandeer it. What about you? What would you want to do with the land?
Yeah, just now.
How would you add to my garden?
Yes, just now. What I'm hearing is that, like this land, which is here, in your mind, there is that possibilities.
For sure.
There is that possibilities to make use of this land and build small forest, small ecosystem.
Yes, exactly.
That can feed us.
Exactly.
And,
you got it.
Feed us not just just simple food, but with a variety of food.
Yes, diversity.
And also they are just working with themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. You got it. Yeah, exactly. So it's our job is just to harvest, to just enjoy the bounty.
Enjoy the richness of the land.
Yes, exactly. That would be our only job, is to enjoy,
Enjoy.
because the plants can look after themselves and they all work together to create something for us.
That is such a beautiful imagination to me, because that is in contrast with like the supermarket.
Exactly.
Like how we get food from the supermarket.
Exactly, which
We
is
get
more extractive. Yes, sorry, go on.
Yeah, we get a bit mushroom from this box,
Yeah.
and then some potatoes from this bag,
Yeah,
and then we get this, but we don't know, like, where are they coming from?
Yeah, not
and
at all.
What is the connections with the
Exactly,
land?
exactly,
And we also
yeah.
don't know how much they value, because sometimes the vegetable here in UK is quite expensive.
Yes, that's it. Fresh food is so expensive. That's why it's so crazy, because it grows free and we all pay so much money for it. Yeah.
Yes, that's such a beautiful intention.